Okay, so welcome to the next section, and in this video, we will discuss about some of the, I would say, parts of Directus UI, and we will see that how we could customize the Data Studio according to our needs. So, if you guys remember that in the previous section, we did our to-dos collection with three different attributes: title, description, and is completed, right? And if you guys remember, if you come to this settings section, you can see inside our data model, I told you guys to, skip this option, which was this display template, right? And this is one thing which will help you to let the collections being displayed based on some of its column, right? So if you come to this content section right over here, and if you click on this thing, you can see that it is saying editing item introduced, right? Now, this is not a good one, and this will also not help me to visualize what I want to display over here or which record I'm being displayed, right? And this is where display template comes into the picture. So if you go back and into settings, into let's say data model, and then if you come to display template, here you can provide any column which will be displayed at that position, right? So if you click on this thing and if you, let's say we are going to view the records based on title, and let's say this thing, right? And now if you go back to our content section and you click on this, you can see that now the title of that record is being shown at the top of the record right over here, which I would say is a good practice to do. And the good part is that you can even, customize this thing based on the display template. So let's say if you want a combination of multiple columns, you can do that as well. For that, what you have to do is to, instead of display template, you can also provide any other column, like maybe description as well if you want. And you can bring some small brackets right over here for better, I would say, separation. And let's save this thing. Now what this will do is if you come to this content section, if you click on this, we can see that learn Java and the description is inside those small brackets, right? So again, it depends on you how you want to, I would say, display your this display template thing, okay, depending on your scenario. So that is one, I would say, benefit of using that display template thing. And now let's moving on. Let's discuss some other features which are, I would say, present in directives, right? Now, if you come to this bottom right section of this directives, you will see this activity log right over here. Now, I might be having that camera section over here, but I will remove that for now and will show you that what this activity log is, right? Now, if you click on this activity log, and it will show you this show all activity. If you click on this, here you can see all the activities being performed in Data Studio by different users, right? And this is where you can, I would say, track accountability. So building a good software is means that you must be having a good accountability options available, right? And this is one of features I would say which is available in Directus and which also shines. And here you can track all the accountability. You can check all the activities being performed by all the users right now. Since we are only having one user, so it's saying admin user. And then if you want to see your activity, you can click on my activity and nothing will change because since we are only having one user, which is performing all the actions, right? And then based on these things, you can also, I would say, see what are the create options which are or create, I would say, operations which are being performed in this data studio. So if you click on this create, you can see that we created directors fields, we created folders, we created to-dos, we created other fields as well, which was created by admin user, and this action was performed on these dates, right? Then we can also look all the update options, all the delete ones, comment one. Right now we have not commented as well, right? And login one, that who is logged in, right? So this is, I would say, a very good option directors where you can come in and you can see all the actions which are being performed by the end users, right? And you can easily track if something goes wrong, that who performed that operation. This is, I would say, one of the best accountability features available in directives. So I thought that why not to show you guys about this option as well, right? So let's go back and let's see another option, right? Now, in the previous section, we saw that how we could, I would say, display our column and we can hide our column. And moving on, I want to show you one extra option which is available over here, in which you can, also sort the column, right? So if you can sort ascending, you can see it is being sorted in ascending order, and descending, it can be sorted in the descending order as well. based on the, I would say, title, right? So let's say if I create another to do and let's call it as, let's make it like Afaq Javed for now. The reason I'm giving the title with Afaq Javed is because I want to make sure that I'm having A so that I will see that how the sorting is being performed on the title, right? So let's say this is test, the description. It's not completed and let's create the record, right? Now, once you create this thing, you can see that you're having title. And now if you come to sort ascending orders, so by default, it will sort by alphabetical order, right? So if you click on sort ascending, you can see that the A goes first and then we are getting L, L, and L, right? So this is the sorting of ascending. And if you go vice versa, you can also sort it in descending order, right? So these are the options available on every column, right? You can even go for description as well. You can go for is completed as well if you like, right? Now, another thing I like about Directus is that you can also, align the content left, center, or right based on your needs, right? So let's say if I want to align this title as center, so I can click on center align. So you can see that now the title is aligned in center, and then we can also align it to the right as well, depending on our needs, right? So this is one feature which also gives you a lot more customizability on the UI part as well. So yeah, that's the option available with, I would say, these columns, and you can do these, or I would say perform these operations for all the columns available, right? Now let's moving on. There is another option which I like to show you. That is this sorting option right over here, right? And this is where you can drag and drop and sort the records based on your needs, right? So let me bring on that sort field, right? So let's bring that sort field. Now you can see that this is having these sortings, right? And now what you can do is if you click on this thing, let me just turn off this sorting if I can. Let's go with ascending options. And now with this option available, what I can do is I can sort, drag and drop and sort these fields according to our own needs, right? If you click on this, now you can see that I can drag and drop these records. So let's say if I want a Fog Javed to be the first, I can come over here and place it over here. And now you can see that this is the first record right over here. Okay. And if I move this to the end, it will go up to the end part, right? And this is how sorting will work based on, I would say, these sort fields, right? And you can drag and drop any row and it will change accordingly, right? So this is one way of sorting, right? So if you click on this, it will save all the sorting fields accordingly, how you sorted all these, right? So let me explain this one more further. If you click on this and you drag and drop different, so let's say right now the learn Python update is on the fifth part, right? And if you drag this to the first one, and right now you can see that learn Python update is on the first part, but the sorting is still at the fifth number, right? But if you save this thing, now this will sort it, or I would say change all the columns accordingly based on your sorting order, which you have performed by drag and drop, right? So now you can see that it is not number 2, then 3, then 4 and 5, right? So this is how you can sort records based on the sort field by using their drag and drop feature, right? And this is, I think, one of the coolest part of Directus as well. So yeah, now it's time, I would say, to go to this, I would say, another option which I like a lot in Directus, that is this bookmarks option, right? Now bookmarks is something, so let's say if you're having these records and you want a scenario in which you only want to see the completed records, right? The completed to-dos. So how you can do that is that if you come over here, you can filter out those, right? So you can add a filter, and let's say we are creating a filter over is completed, and we are having different options: equals, doesn't equal, is null, isn't null, right? So we'll go with equals, and we will call it as those records which are completed, right? And now you can see that the filter is working fine. But the problem here is that, let's say, once I have performed this filter, and if I go to any other sections right over here and come back to this content section, you can see that the filter is already applied, right? But I don't want that, right? I want a different, I would say, page or a section where I can see all the complete records. And by default, I want to see all the to-dos, right? And this is where I would say the bookmarks come into the picture, right? So if you click on this, you can create a bookmark, and let's name it like completed to-dos, right? And you can give a good icon to this. So let's call it as check. Yeah, this one should work fine. And then you can also choose a different color. Let's go with this one. And now you can save this thing, right? Now, once you do this, what will happen is that it will create a different I would say, page inside this to-dos section, right? So it will be nested inside to-dos, which is having the name of completed to-dos. And here you can see all the completed to-dos, which are, I would say, completed, right? And if you come to to-dos, now what you can do is you can remove this filter right over here. Just remove it. And now here you can see all the to-dos which are completed and not completed. But if you come to this section completed to-dos, you can see that here, these are only showing all the to-dos which are completed, right? So in the to-do section, you can see that we are also getting the records which are not completed, right? Which is this Afaq Javed one. Now, this is, I would say, another cool feature by Directus. So if you want to have multiple, I would say, filters, and based on filters, you can create multiple bookmarks if you like, right? So this is one way of, I would say, customizing the UI part according to your needs. And if you want to, manage these bookmarks, which we have created right over here, if you want to delete it or create another one or update it, you can go to the settings sections, and inside this, you will be having the options of this bookmarks right over here. And you can see this is our bookmark, which we have recently created, right? Which is completed to do's with, and this was created by the admin user, right? So you can click on this, you can edit the name, you can delete it from here, right? And you can even, create another preset if you want. And that's how you can manage bookmarks in Directus, I would say, data studio, right? And believe me, there is a lot more customizability available here. And to be very honest, Directus is very, very fun to work with. Now let's move on and let's discuss these, I would say, menus which are available on the right side. And this is where I would say the magic of Directus happens, right? And now let's start with the layout options. This is where you can change the layout of your data. And this, I would say, is, uh, you know, I would say kudos to Directus team to building this functionality, right? This is where you can, I would say, display your data in multiple different layouts. Let me explain what I want to say, right? Right now, you can see that we are having our table layout, and we can change the spacing of our table layout, right? So cozy means a medium, I would say, spacing between the content. Compact mean that it will be more compacted, right? And the third one is this comfortable, where it will go a lot more, right? So we will be having a lot more spacing between the content. So based on your needs, you can do that. I like to keep it in the cozy way, which is the default one, which is good to go, right? But you can also change the layout into different parts as well, right? So let's go with, I would say, right now it's table. So let's change this to cards, right? And this is where you can see the content is being displayed in cards, right? Once you click your cards, you can see that you can provide the image source if the content is having any image. And then in the title section, you can show whatever column you like. You can see that right now we have selected title, that inside the title, you have to show the title of the to-do record, right? And this is what they're showing, right? And in the subtitle, you can show the description or any other column if you like. So if I close this thing and let's say I want to show is completed, so you can see that that is also being shown in the UI, right? So this is the coolest part over here. I would say that you can view the data in multiple different layouts, right? And now let's go one step further, and let's provide some image to see that how this was, right? And right now you can see that there is not any image column available in our data by which we could display our these to dos in cards, right? So let's come to our I would say data model, and let's create a one field, and this time we will go with the image, right? So let me find that image if that is available. Yeah, this one right over here. Click on this and let's call it as image, and the type will be UID, and we will be saving our image as a root folder. We're good to go. I think I'm okay with the default option. So let's save this thing. And this will give you a image field, right? Where you can upload any image to do, right? So let's come to content section, and let me click on, let's say we're going with Learn Java, right? And here you can see that now we are getting our image by which I could upload any image, right? So let me just first see if I'm having any Java image, and let me just get this one. Yeah, looking good. And let me just take a snapshot, right? And yeah, and let me just open this. And now what we can do is we can come to the section and upload that Java image, right? Let's open it. And not looking so good, but I think this will work fine for now. So let's save this thing, right? And right now you can see by default, it has picked my image source, and it is showing that image right over here, right? And this is one of the coolest part of Directus, right? And as you move on, you can, upload the image for this to-dos as well and the others. And this is how the cards functionality work, right? Let's me just remove this thing from is completed to, let's call it description. And this is what it looks like, right? So this is how you can use the cards layout for displaying your data, right? And you're also having some of the advanced options right over here in which you can, use different, I would say, image fits depending on your scenario. Right now it's crop. If you go to contain, you can see that the whole image is now contained inside this container. And then this is the fallback icon. The fallback icon means that if there is not any image available, what icons should be used. Right now it's box, but you can use any icon. So I will go with this one, which looks a lot more, I would say, related to the to-dos, right? And yeah, so it's working perfectly fine. So let's move to another layout, right? And now let's change this to, let me say, the layout to, I would say, calendar, right? When you change this to calendar, you can see that by default, we are getting some of the timestamps right over here, right? And now this is where I would say the magic starts to happen based on your timestamps, right? So you can see that I am telling the directors to use this calendar layout, and then the start date field I'm choosing is the date at which the record was updated, right? But I don't want that. I want the date at which the record was created, right? And this is where I have selected the date created, and based on that, you can see that there were some to-dos which I created on 25th of the day because I was recording that video on the previous days, right? In which we created our 3 new records, and then today we have created one record, and today you can see that it's August 27th, right? So this is being shown at the 27th part, right? And the good thing is that here you can see that we are getting our IDs right over here, right? IDs of the record. But I don't want to do that. I rather want to display the title of the to do, right? And I can simply come over here. I can just add that column, right? And you can see right now we are getting the title and the time at which the record was created, and the date is automatically shown. The good part of this calendar is that you can go into the week view as well, and you can also go, let me see, in the week view, let's go back. So it's 23rd, 24th. I think let's go one step further. I don't know why the records are not being shown. So 27th of August, right? So we are August 4 to 10. Let's go into 27th part. Yeah. So you can see for 25th, 21, we are getting these records in which this is on August 27th and this is on, I would say, August 25th, right? And we can also go into the day view. In the day view, you can see right now we are at August 25th and these 3 records are being shown. And we can also go into the list view, which will look something like this, right? So this is also one of the coolest part of, I would say, Directus, to view the records in a calendar like UI, right? So that's how simple it is to, I would say, use these layout options, right? And now moving on, there is another option of layout, which is this Kanban approach, right? And this is my favorite part of Directus, or I would say my favorite layout in Directus. So if you click on this Kanban, what you can do is, let me just, once you have clicked this Kanban, you can group your data based on some parameters, right? It's user created, or you can, group by user updated as well, right? Now, this will not give you a good glimpse of what I mean by this Kanban, I would say, layout. Let me create another use case to help you better understand what do I mean by this Kanban layout. So let's go back to the table scenario, and let's say right now we don't need this is completed field, right? Let's say we are having a scenario in which our to-dos will be having a status of 3 different scenarios, right? Number one will be to do, the second one will be in progress, and the third one will be in done, which is, I would say, a normal use case in any software project management tool, right? So if I come to the settings sections right over here, let's go to to-dos, and let's, I would say, drop this field, which is completed. So let me just delete this one, and that's gone. Now let's create another field, and I will come to this drop down option, and here I will create the status of our to-dos, right? The default will be null, which I'm good to go. The status, I would say, should be required because at least it should be in one of the, I would say, states, right? Either it should be in to do, either it should be in progress, or it should be in the part of done, right? Now let's create new, and let's enter a name, right? So Here we can create multiple different status, right? So let's say the very first status is in to do, and the value is also to do, and we can create an icon for that. So let's go with the list option if there is available. So this is the list option. You can choose a different color. So let's go with the red one. Let's save this thing. This is our one option. Let's create another one, and this time I will say it's in progress. In progress. And let's copy and paste it into the value as well. And let's in icon, let's go with this refresh icon. Uh, Not a good one, but this will work fine for now, right? And in the color, let's go with this, let's say orange one. Let's save this thing and let's create another one. And this is our done part. And this should be also having the value of done. And the icon should be, let's say, check one, which is that we have performed the task, we have completed it. And then in the section, we can go with this color green, right? And let's save this thing, right? Now, this is how we could create a drop-down feed, and let's save this thing, right? And now, if you come to our, I would say this content section, right now the field is not being displayed because we have not added that column. So let me just hide this sort column because I don't need that for now. Let's get our status column right over here, right? And now here you can see that we are having our status column, but by default we have not provided any status to any record, right? So let's say this learn Python, this is in our to-do state. Save this thing. And this fog Java, let's say this is in our in progress state. Let's save this thing as well. Learn directors, so we are also learning, so it's in our in progress section as well. And learn Java, let's say we have done Java, right? So let's mark it as done. So this is how it looks like, right? We are having one record in to do section, two in progress, and one is done, right? Now this is where the magic will happen, right? So if you come into this layout section and click on Kanban, and now what you can do is rather grouping by user updated, you can group this by based on status. Now this is the coolest part right over here. You can see that we are giving to do, in progress, and done as our Kanban options with the respective to dos. Now, this is what I like the most about Directus, right? That you can build any, I would say, scenario based on your use case. And the good part, is that you can drag and drop these to dos based on your condition. So let's say if I want this to do to be this learn Python updated to be in progress, so just click, drag, and drop it right over here, and Directus will automatically update the status of that to do. So isn't it cool, right? With a lot more, I would say, with a few clicks and just some text, you can perform these, I would say, actions in a simple and easy fashion, right? So this is, I would say, that's why I was saying that Kanban board is one of my favorite features in Directus, by which you can build any, I would say, software project management tool within minutes, right? That's how simple it is. So these are all the layout options, I guess. Apart from that, there is only one option which is left, which is map option right over here. And this is also a cool part of Directors by which you can, display your geolocation data based on this map thing right over here, right? And I think under the hood, it is using that map box thing, but I won't be going detail into this section because I never faced a scenario in which I displayed, any geolocation data in the map in Directors Studio, but I would love to do that as well. And if you guys have worked on this scenario, just do let me know in the comment section as well that if someone has worked with the Directors maps as well, right? So yeah, these were all the layout options. So moving on, this is another thing. Let me just change the layout back to our table thing. And now, if you come to this, sorry for that. If you come into this refresh thing, this is where you can define the interval by which you want to refresh your data, right? And if you click on this, you are having a lot more options like every 10 seconds, every 30 seconds. I've never turned this on in my Director's journey, but you can do that if you want it, right? So if you click on every 10 seconds, what this will do is if I open my this console of Google Chrome, and if you come to this network section, and you can see that right over here, after 10 seconds it is hitting this API right over here, right? So what this will do is every 10 seconds it will again go and fetch the records from your database after every 10 seconds, right over here. You can see that. Okay, if you can change the interval, you can do that as well every 30 seconds or every minute, right? But I normally keep it as do not refresh. This is more like a use case for, I would say, where you want, I would say, real time, data visibility, like in restaurant applications, where let's say if the waiter, creates an order in Directus, and there is one interface for kitchen, and you want the kitchen to directly view that order within 10 seconds, so you can click on over here, and then it will automatically be refreshed, right? That is one use case which is coming in my mind for this refresh interval thing, right? So yeah, that's our refresh interval. And going on, you are having this export options, which is, I would say, a great option available in Directus, right? So you can either import the data in CSV or JSON format, or you can even export data, right? So going for import, I'm skipping the import part. Rather, let's go with the export option, see how we can export data, right? So if you click on this export items, what this will do is, let me see why it's not working. Yeah, right over there. So when you click on this, you can see that we're having options of CSV, right? In which format you want, so CSV, JSON, XML, YAML. I will go with CSV option. Let's keep the limit to 25. So I will be exporting 25 records, and I will download the file, or I want to keep that file uploaded to Directus library. I can do that as well. But I'm going to download that file. And then if you want to keep the sort field, you can do that as well. And sort direction is ascending, then full text search. We can place any filters if you like, and then you can select all the desired fields which you want to export, right? So I'm exporting title, description, and status. So let's add another field in which I will also be exporting the user who created the record. So let's click on user, and I would go with first name, and then I would also go with user not updated, but user created. And then I need to, not this one, let me go again. So user created, and then last name. So these are the records which I will be exporting, right? So if you click on this download thing, it will go and download the CSV file, and then you can open it in any software like Excel or numbers in, I would say, Mac. And here you can display your data, right? So you can see that this was our title, this was our description, this was our status, and this was the first name of our user and the last name of our user, which was that user, right? So this is how simple it is to export data from, I would say, Directus, right? And then moving on, I would say you can also, I would say, import the data in CSV or JSON, and you can do that by providing, I would say, the same format in which we have downloaded that thing, right? And that's how I would say you can import your data in Directus data studio, right? So I think that's it for this video. We have covered a lot more, in this section. We have covered, the display template, their layout options, the columns, the sorting, ascending and descending, and the sort field, and all these scenarios, right? And in the coming on section, we will jump into the relations part, where we will be creating all the relations, and we will be seeing that how relations work in Directus, right? But before ending the video, I want to show you a little glimpse of how relations are working in our Directus part of thing. Because right now, this record, this to-dos collection is already having a relation, right? So let me show you that what I'm talking about, right? So if you come to, let me go back to our WebStorm, and let's open our database, right? So let me open our database, and this one, if you come to this our to-do section, and these are our records, right? And if you open this data definition language, you can see that we are already having a relation with our Directus users table, right? So the user who created the record, this user underscore created record is just an ID which is referencing to this Directus users table. And same it is being done for the user underscore updated table right over here. Okay, and this user updated column is also reference to the Directus users, right? So this is acting as an, I would say, foreign key in this current to-dos table, right? And the good part of this is that you can come back to, I would say, Directus, and then instead of, let's say, if you come over here and add a column, so instead of uh, making that user created name, I want to add any other column of that user table, so I can easily do that as well. So if you click on this user created, you can see that it is showing the name of the user by default, right? But let's say that's not the use case. The use case is that rather, showing that first name and last name, I want to show the email of the user, so I can also do that as well, right? So if you come over here And inside the user created, you can click on this arrow, and then you can click first name, last name, and email. And now you can see that how simple it is to view your relational data in this tabular fashion, right? And here you can see that we are getting that first name of the admin, last name of the admin, and the email of the admin who have created this record, right? And the reason I can do that is because this is being linked by that Directus users table under the hood, right? And the same will be applied for the user updated field as well, if you want to do that, right? So this is just a glimpse of the relations. In the coming on section, I will show you that how we could build all those relations by ourselves and build our MVP within minutes, right? So see you in the next section.